Hi, so week 6 of Boys and Girls Club observations. This week has been really a review week in class, so I've decided that I'm going to kind of review all the stuff that I've learned in class and tie it to some of the things that I've observed while in the field and make parallels. So, one of the first things I noticed when I got there was that white students, typically white boys, act with more privilege, meaning they cause more trouble. There's typically two boys that cause the most amount of trouble, and they are typically the ones that kind of gather all the other students, all the other male students, and get them to cause trouble, be it not following orders from staff or things like that. The next thing I've noticed was there are stereotypes in the male students of aggressive behavior. The boys tend to wrestle more and be more physical with their when they talk to other people, when they talk mostly to other boys, because there's a clear divide. Boys play with the boys, girls play with the girls. Whereas girls, when they are physical, they're more touchy. They're not really more push. They typically they aren't very physical at all. But when they are physical, it's touchy. And those kind of fulfill the gender roles of where women have to be more delicate and men have to be more aggressive, which they might have learned from any means of anything. One of the things I also noticed, and I asked some of the staff members, I asked them if there were any signs of relationships. Do they know, homosexuality and the LGBTQ plus community? Are they aware of these types of things? They said they don't really see any relationships when they're this young. They have heard terms like gay and queer been used as derogatory terms, which is something they probably picked up from their older siblings or even their parents or TV or any amount of media. But that does not mean that they don't show signs of feelings. While I was there, a group of girls kind of stood around and did what young girls do, which is they look at older boys. And a staff member pointed this out to me. So that means they're acknowledging that they have feelings. And I don't know if a large majority of the girls could have just been joining in so that they would fit in, or if this was their actual intent. Another thing I noticed a little bit of colorism / racial divide is this is something I mentioned earlier in one of my other videos, students grouped by the races. So a lot of the Pacific Islander students, or students that would be described as Asian, typically group with themselves, and when they are with themselves, they speak their native language. So as to be either more inclusive or exclusive depends on who they're talking to. Staff does not seem to have a problem with this at all, really. So, yep. And then something I noticed in an act of defiance, and this could be a form of sexism, is there was two boys on a swing, and they were kind of messing with the swing. They were tying it in a weird way, and they basically somehow got the swing, the seat of the swing above their heads, and it was weird. But when one of the female staff members asked them to take it down and fix it, their first intention was to brush it off, not even pretend they didn't even hear her. And it wasn't until a male staff member specifically said, "Hey, listen to her," that these male students finally went ahead and took the swing down. I acknowledge this as a form of sexism because they are choosing to acknowledge members of their own gender more than members of the opposite gender. So they acknowledged the male, but they didn't acknowledge the female. And so those were the major things that I saw when we were at Boys and Girls Club this week.